Australia's kind of really, in forefront of this, has had a bit of a think about what we might need to do, and they have a national cybersecurity strategy for the 23 to 2030. Carla, I know you've been involved in sort of looking at this quite closely. What does this mean for organisations, and what does this mean in terms of the accountabilities and actions that this is going to create for those organisations?
So Australia's spearheaded the National Cybersecurity Strategy to 2030 just this year. We've got a National Cybersecurity Coordinator who's Air Marshal Darren Goldie. It elicits something like a war response because cybercrime is the new era of cyber war. We have quite an ambitious target to achieve by 2030, so it's a whole of government approach. And Darren Goldie has quite an important portfolio. It sits within the Department of Home Affairs. So the government is showing leadership, just like it would for floods, it would for bushfires, etc. One of the main goals of the strategy is to make sure government agencies work together. So you've got the Australian Cybersecurity Centre, the Australian Signals Directorate, the Office of National Intelligence, the Australian Federal Police, the Department of Immigration. So you'll see a lot of collaboration between departments to bring about a whole of government incident preparedness and a lot of collaboration with intelligence. The second thing that's going to happen is probably a lot of reporting guidelines and legislative requirements. So you'd see Minister Claire O'Neill as recently as last week announced telecommunications will now fit into critical infrastructure. So the boards will now have reporting guidelines just like hospitals or energy suppliers, etc. One of the things we need to keep in mind is boards now need to be prepared. Cyber literacy for directors is becoming important. Cybersecurity is not just domain of the Chief Information and Security Officer. You've got to take a multi-layered approach in Australia, all the way from your technical staff having the ability to also learn policy and governance and end-user awareness and training.
So it just sounds like the job of cybersecurity inside of an organisation is just going to change drastically, and we're seeing it even in structures where the head of cybersecurity is becoming one of the direct lead-ins to your CEOs of businesses. So you can start to see what that means as the requirements on businesses are increasing, as we're seeing a lot more legislative needs that need to be met. We're just going to see more and more of this, and it's going to become a much bigger job than it used to be.